Introduction. The Battle of Long Island, also known as the Battle of Brooklyn, was a major engagement of the American Revolutionary War on August 27, 1776. The British defeated the Americans, gaining control of the strategic port of New York. It was the largest battle of the war and the first after the U.S. declared independence. After losing the siege of Boston, George Washington moved the Continental Army to defend New York. The British landed on Staten Island and attacked American defenses, outflanking them. The Americans retreated to Brooklyn Heights, where they were besieged. Washington later evacuated the army to Manhattan, and eventually, they were driven out of New York. Background. In the early stages of the Revolutionary War, the British Army left Boston and sailed to Halifax, Nova Scotia. General George Washington anticipated the next target would be New York City due to its strategic importance. Washington arrived in New York in April 1776 and established defenses, while more troops were transferred to the city. The American forces constructed forts and barricades, preparing for a potential British attack. However, the British fleet arrived in New York Harbor in June, causing panic among the population. The British began landing troops on Staten Island and attempted negotiations with the Americans. Additional British ships and troops arrived in August, and the British decided to invade Long Island. They landed unopposed and established a camp. Washington, believing it to be a diversion, only sent a limited number of troops to Long Island. The British received reinforcements, outnumbering the Americans. The American plan was to defend from Brooklyn Heights, while troops under General Sullivan and General Sterling were stationed on the Guan Heights. The British, led by General Clinton, devised a plan to flank the Americans through the Jamaica Pass. On August 27, 1776, the Battle of Long Island began, resulting in a British victory. Battle. At 2100, the British silently withdrew, led by Clinton, Cornwallis, Howe, and Percy with a force of 10,000 men. Disguising their movements with burning campfires, they headed northeast and then directly north toward the heights. Along the way, they captured American pickets and forced William Howard to guide them. At 9 o'clock, they signaled the Hessian troops to attack Sullivan's men from the front while flanking the American positions from the east. Meanwhile, a diversionary attack occurred near the Red Lion Inn, followed by intense fighting on the Gowanus Road. The Hessians bombarded the American lines at Battle Pass, and the main British army attacked Sullivan's forces. Despite some resistance, the Americans suffered heavy casualties and retreated to Brooklyn Heights. Howe decided against a direct assault and instead set up a siege, believing the Americans were trapped. His reasons for not pressing the attack have been debated, possibly to avoid casualties or to encourage Washington's surrender. Aftermath. In the Battle of Brooklyn, Washington and his army were surrounded on Brooklyn Heights by the British. Despite the perilous situation, Washington ordered reinforcements from Manhattan. However, realizing retreat was the best option, Washington held a meeting with his generals and decided to retreat to Manhattan. The troops were evacuated throughout the night, with Mifflin's rear guard holding the line. The evacuation remained hidden from the British due to fog and deception tactics. All 9,000 troops were successfully evacuated without any casualties. The British were surprised by the escape and later occupied the American fortifications. Washington's defeat revealed some deficiencies, but his daring nighttime retreat is considered a remarkable military feat. The British remained inactive for some time until launching attacks in September. The Americans suffered heavy casualties, with about 300 killed and over 1,000 captured. The battle marked the largest ever fought in North America at the time.